We live in a twilight world and there are no friends at dusk. So let's do a quick recording for, well, I guess this will go on YouTube actually. And I put out on Twitter, you know, what's on your mind. And a few people got back to me straight away. So there's stuff to talk about. So yeah, let's go through what's on people's minds at the moment and see if I can, respond, add to the question, answer the question, play with the question. I mean, of course, I just want to put it out there. I don't know what the fuck's going on here in this reality. And I always say this, and I always put it out there, yeah, reality is subjective. So, you know, listen to my answers, but by no means think that they are the, you know, ultimate truth regarding everything, because it just isn't like that, okay? What's happening in my reality and what's happening in your reality and what's happening in the NPC's reality are different things, okay? But anyway, let's get into it. So Beans over on Twitter. What's on her mind is how everything we do for fun and entertainment is actually a ritual designed to awaken dead gods. Concerts, ? Yep. Coffee at Starbucks, ? Yep. Watching movies, dancing at a club, yep and yep. To quote The Sims, this world is ricochet. I don't remember that from The Sims. I do remember playing The Sims. That was quite a weird game, right? And it was very addictive, The Sims. But when you think about it, it was a very, very fucking boring game. Yeah, I mean, I yet again, like most computer games, I played them years and years after they actually came out. In my desperate attempt to try and catch up on what I missed out on as a kid, I'd buy games that people were playing like 10 years ago when I never, you know, I was piss poor as a kid. I never had any PlayStations or anything like that. So years later, I played them, and which is probably better actually, because I had wise head on my shoulders. I got to see the program within his games. But The Sims, I remember The Sims. The weird thing about The Sims is most people in that game have locked The Sims in a room and set the place on fire, you know, essentially killing The Sims or their sim. And I think they've done like a study, and like a lot of people done that. Kind of disturbing, right? Or maybe it's just human nature in that we know it's a simulation, we know it's a computer game, we just want to see what it's like. I don't know. But that game, I felt like that game wasn't any fun unless you had that cheat code, which was Rosebud, right? Yeah, there was a cheat code called Rosebud, which gave you like unlimited money when you could finally just, you know, build the house you want and build swimming pools and get all the nicest stuff. That's when the game became fun. Actually trying to play that game legitimately was just crap. Anyway, so the question, everything is a ritual designed to awaken dead gods. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from, but you know, what's your definition of a god? You know? Because I think the sun is a god. Earth is a god. The moon is a god. The wind is a god. The sea is a god. Maybe the AI, Black Cube is a god. Time is a god. Reality is a god, you know? So yeah, that's a very deep question. I kind of need more context on what you mean by a god, you know, and dead god. Are you talking about the pagan gods? Because in the pagan pantheon of gods, you know, some are quite evil, some are quite positive, some are just neither here nor there, and most of them represent a kind of energy force, you know. Like you'd have the god of jealousy and the god of the forest, you know, the god of fertility and stuff like that, you know. So, you know, what are any of those gods actually dead? I don't think they are. I think they're just forgotten. coffee at Starbucks being one of the gods. Yeah, I'm sure you're talking about the logo in the Starbucks logo, which is like a siren that's got kind of like Abraxas kind of legs, right? Like a two kind of mermaid fins. Yeah, signs and symbols, man. They definitely work. And if you're running a corporation that's trying to make money, you're definitely going to invest in signs and symbols in that way for sure. So is every time I go to Starbucks, we don't have a lot of Starbucks over here in the UK. We've got Costa Coffee, which is more of a dominant coffee chain, which is obviously CC 33, right? I think Coca-Cola owns Costa Coffee now, another free. So every time you're drinking there, are you like supercharging their 33? I know their flat white is now £3.30. I mean, yeah, man, there's something to it. There's definitely something to it. It's like you're giving your energy to something you don't really know what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go down to the next question now, because this is going to be a quick Q&A. Yeah, I'm going to try and keep it like under 20 minutes, or let's say under 30 minutes. Roy Reiser says, everything sucks. I don't know how old Roy Reiser is, but I know there are times in life when it feels like, yeah, everything sucks. There are times in life when it feels like there's nothing going on, or just things ain't going your way, or that life's pretty shitty. That's definitely a thing. I've experienced that many a times over the years. And even like this week, actually, so far, I've had a bit of a loser week where I just feel like I haven't really done anything. I stayed up really late last night watching some fucking cartoon called Primal, which is about a caveman and a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex going on adventures. It's a really good cartoon. There's no talking in it. The animation's great. The little storylines are amazing. But, you know, I was up till 2 a.m. watching them. And this morning I didn't wake up till about 10:30. So, you know, by the time I had breakfast and got out and stuff, like the day's gone. But I try to, like, what I do is I try not to, like, you know, put too much emphasis on like going out and kicking a dick every day. You know, that's just part of life. There are moments of boredom, and you've just got to accept that, man. You know, it's like weather, right? You know, there's days when it's cloudy and grey, and that will pass. The sunshine will come out again. You know, me trying to wear a Hawaiian shirt when it's cloudy and grey isn't going to beckon the sunshine out. Although actually, I retract that, because I do feel sometimes your mood can actually affect your own personal weather systems. I do actually believe that. But you get the general kind of metaphor I'm trying to make here. Bad times will pass, and you just got to learn to ride it, man. So the next one on What's on Your Mind, Mike says, replacement. And that's it, nothing more. Replacement. I wonder what he means by that. Maybe he wants to replace some things he's got in his life at the moment. He might want to replace his current partner. He might want to replace his job. He might want to replace his state of mind. I don't know. But nevertheless, that's what he said, replacement. Kayleen Ray. He's a good bloke. He's very active on my Twitter. And I believe Kayleen Ray is actually an ex-artilleryman in the US military. So it'd be good to catch up with him at some point to chat about his experience in being in the artillery, because as far as I'm concerned, that's you know, a weapon of illusion warfare, the old artillery gun. Because the gunners, they fire that fucking artillery round, or the howitzer round, they have no idea where it fucking lands. And yeah. I'm not going to get into it now, but for me, it's one of the classic weapons of illusion warfare, that when you need to hoax a war upon a nation, you whip out those artillery guns and you start pounding them off into empty fields, and that's what you've got to do. But he says, Kayleen Ray says, the calm before the storm. Yeah, it does feel very calm at the moment. But from my perception on reality, it's always been calm. It's kind of only not calm when you allow the illusion, whatever that may be, to enter into your mind and become real. I look back at everything, man. I mean, I grew up in the, as a Londoner, I grew up with the potential terrorism of the IRA and, explosive packages and explosions at civilian targets like train stations and pubs and stuff like that. And, it's a big thing on the way we live. But I look back now, there's nothing going on at all. It's purely just adverts on the TV, adverts in the newspaper. And although I was actually like 10 minutes away from an IRA bomb where I was living back in West London. I look back now, it was just a load of fireworks in the back of a car, It was no big deal. No big deal at all. But yeah, I definitely agree. It does feel very calm at the moment. But whoever they is, they love it, right? Because they want you in anxiety. They love it. Fear or anxiety is equally as good for them, John, what's on his mind is just trying to work out what's real and what's not. ... full-time job. One of the greatest books I ever read, listened to. I don't really read books. I listen to books on audio, and was called Bullshit Jobs, A Theory by David Graeber. And he gets into, it's about a 9-hour-long book, and he gets into, his argument that a vast majority of jobs in the West are just meaningless, made-up jobs. And he outlines like reasons why we've got made-up jobs, like what the purpose is, where they started, the history of made-up jobs. He kind of draws a lot of comparisons to the USSR and communism, when, of course, they would just everyone had to have a job, right? In the USSR, so they would just invent stupid jobs. For example, you'd go in and buy a loaf of bread and there'd be 7 people serving you, right? Because they had to make up jobs. So instead of one person just handing you a loaf of bread, they'd pass it down through 7 people, and one person would bag it, one person would weigh it, one person would hand it to you, one person would take the money, one person would give you the receipt. It was ridiculous. But when you look at our current Western society, it's equally as ridiculous, But yeah, man, full-time job. I work 30 hours a week at the moment, but I compress them into 2 days, yeah? So I do like 15 hours on a Saturday and 15 hours on a Sunday, and that's it. I have Monday to Friday off. I have checked out and I've opted out of the game, innit? That game of trying to keep up with the Joneses and trying to make a buck and have a mortgage. Fuck that. I don't ever want to be a part of that. So yeah, I much rather value my time and not wasting it at some stupid job, pretending it's real and so on. So I don't know, man. Like, I would say about 70% of the jobs out there are pretty much useless, meaningless, and made up. The other 30% are obviously real. Like a mechanic is a real job. A carpenter is a real job. A butcher is a real job. But it's mostly these civil servant jobs and what they call the fire industry, which is like finance, insurance, and real estate. Most of these are just people sitting in offices not doing anything. And if you've got anyone in your life, a family member, or you've ever dated someone that's works in an office, like I've had, I think, 2 or 3 past girlfriends that have worked in offices, and an uncle at work, and they've all said the same thing, that the hardest part of their job is making it look like they're doing something, okay? Or I remember one girl said to me she could do a whole week's worth of work by 11 o'clock on a Monday morning. And you see that, right? It's most of them just taking a trip to the water cooler, to the water fountain, or they plan like a massive meeting in so-and-so, or they bring in speakers. They're doing all of this shit to justify them, working like 40 hours a week when really not doing nothing. And it's a weird kind of industry, right? Because in an ideal world, you'd get rewarded, right, for finishing your work early. Like in the construction industry, for instance, right? That's a real job. You know, let's say you've got to do some decking. And, you know, the quicker you do that decking, the quicker you get to go home. So if you finish that decking by 2 o'clock, that's it, you go home. If you take it a bit slow and you finish it by 3 o'clock, you go home at 3 o'clock. But anyway, it's up to you, right? The quicker you finish it, you get rewarded by you going home early. And that, it's price related pay, right? So you've already priced that decking at whatever, 500 quid. So whether you do it in 1 day, 2 days, a half a day, it's up to you. Now, in the office world, it doesn't work like that. If you do all of your work quick and efficiently, and you go and tell your boss, you will get punished. And they will give you more work to do. They'll make up more imaginary shit for you to do. To try and discourage you from doing it again. And there's this weird sort of game in it where, you know, in the office worker knows his work. He's done all his work, and the manager knows that he's done all his work. But they have to go do this thing where they pretend that they're both working, and they both know they're not working. So yeah. Definitely try and get yourself out of a fake, meaningless job if you can. And definitely try and get yourself a real job and work. I'm not going to give anyone advice. I'm just going to tell you what I do. I try and work as least as possible and enjoy my life as much as I can. And I enjoy like being out in the sunshine and taking days to the beach. And, you know, some days, you know, getting my 10 hours sleep every day. Because my bank balance is empty, but my charisma is full, you know. And that's what the kind of thing you got to weigh up, you know. Is it the other way around? Have you got a bank account that's full, but your fucking heart is empty? We're just so busy trying to keep up with the Joneses, you know. Anyway, I hope I've answered that question for John, or spoke about it enough. Silas Alexander's blue cap, American flag. What's his name? Hang on. The Truth, Union Jack, hands clapping, matters, fire. That's his name there. But we'll just call him Silas Zanders for now. He's thinking, or what's on his mind is a log cabin away from everyone, self-sufficient and away from the lies and bullshit. Winky face. Yeah, I feel you. I've actually had a change in heart, right? Because I used to feel like that all the time. It's got to be the last 5 years or so. I was desperately looking for like a plot of land that I could rent and just like chuck up a quick little wooden shed. Hang on, I've got some coffee here. Cold coffee. Yeah, man, I thought about that as well, but I also don't think it's the answer. I don't know if running away, I mean, for me personally, I don't think running away and secluding myself or being like a hermit or a monk is the way for me, man. I enjoy like people watching and being, you know, walking around the Matrix and just looking at these fucking creatures that we call NPCs, right? I enjoy it a lot. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if you went and done that, got yourself a log cabin away from everyone, you might be content for a year, 2 years, 3 years. I mean, I don't know you as a person, innit? I don't know. I'm talking mainly about me. But I'd probably get really fucking bored after year 2 or 3, you know? Once I'd conquered that mountain of being a self-sufficient farmer or whatever, I'd want to jump onto the next thing, you know? But if that's what you want to do, man, I mean, definitely pursue it. I hope it works for you. And I hope you're doing it because it's what you really want. You're not doing it because you're buying into the bullshit that they're throwing at us with these illusions, okay? I mean, you know, I don't know, man, and get yourself a hot wife or a hot partner, you know, that's going to keep you company in the lonely log cabin, you know. Because he says here, a log cabin away from everyone. I don't know. Does he mean everyone, or does he mean, you know, him and his family and his dog away from everyone? You know, I think you need some kind of company. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Either way, I hope it works out for you. Not Ben Stiller. What's on his mind? Seed saving and plant propagation. They do say, I love that name as well, Not Ben Stiller. And looking at his photo, he does look a bit like Ben Stiller, so I'm assuming that people mistake him for Ben Stiller, or his photo for Ben Stiller. But yeah, I mean, I think on a bit of a sideline hustle or a sideline project, getting into growing your own vegetables and stuff like that, a bit of gardening, you know, getting them green fingertips is probably a good idea. You know, they do say if they turned 1/3 of every front garden into, you know, somewhere to grow food, they'd eradicate world hunger within a year, I believe it is. Yeah. I mean, regardless whether you actually carry on doing it for the rest of your life, I don't know, but I think it's a good skill to have. I think anything self-sufficient is a good skill to have. Especially what may, I'm not going to say it will come down the line, what may come down the line in our future. I think things like being self-sufficient and growing your own food is a good thing to do, yeah, man. So let's look at some more what's on your mind over on Twitter. So these are the ones that have been like, Twitter has blocked these for me for some reason, even though they're genuine, just normal questions. So this is Conservative Gal. G-A-L, gal. Like girl, conservative girl. And what's on her mind? How stressed I am about things I can't change. This country is going to hell in a handbasket, and I'm hoping I can survive it. And then Scott Norris has commented regarding that one and says, many of us feel like that. It's soul destroying, but I guess that's the plan. So I'm going to make the assumption you're in the US of A. And yes, it may appear via your black cube device, whether that's your TV, your smartphone, your iPad, or whatever, that it looks like your country is being destroyed. And, you know, maybe so. Maybe it is being destroyed in some form or another. But it doesn't mean it has to destroy you. And here's what I do, okay? My kind of general kind of targets for the day are a warm place to sleep at night, spending time out in the sunshine, and getting at least 1,000 calories of, you know, good quality food. And obviously water. I need water's without question, okay? We all need to drink some good water. So that's it. Somewhere to sleep, getting out in the sunshine, and getting some good quality food. That's my 3 targets. And so far, I've managed to do that for 35 years of my life. Well, I've been able to do that for my adult life. And, you know, that's it. And, you know, we're kind of the same in the UK. They're constantly talking about, you know, cost of living crisis, recessions, collapse, food chain collapses. Yeah, I still go into my supermarket and there are still shelves full of meat. There is still milk. There are still eggs, you know. The main, like, quality food you need, obviously like protein and stuff, is there, you know. It's all the other stuff that you have to kind of like ask yourself, is that really what defines you? Like, let's say, for example, you might be losing your job. And then you might, because you're losing your job, you ain't going to be able to pay for your BMW that you've got on finance or on hire purchase or whatever, you know, monthly payments. Is you losing your fake job and that BMW really your life being destroyed? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, is that really the problem here? And I'm not conservative, gal. I'm not assuming that's what you're getting at. You might have a load more worse things going on in your life, but I don't know much about you, but you know, I don't know. I'm just a minimalist, right? If you just free them, they're your free targets every day: a warm place to sleep at night, some good food, and some time in the sunshine. Okay, everything else is an extra. They're not the only things I do. I go to the gym, I go to the work, I listen to podcasts, I do all that stuff, but they're not necessary for me to carry on living. As for a warm place to sleep, you know, you can live in a fucking cardboard box if you had to. You can sleep in your car if you had to. And what's the big deal about that? You know, sleeping in your car if you have to. The only thing that's really embarrassing about sleeping in a car is the way we've been programmed to judge people, right? Socially, we've been programmed to judge and shame people that might have to be sleeping in the car, like, oh, they're poor. But if the economy really is collapsing like we're led to believe, we're all going to be poor. So what's the fucking big deal, man? Because I think, you know, what worries people is being socially outcast, being hungry, and being homeless, right? Being unable to live, basically. But, you know, I'm sure of like a $5 a day, or maybe what, $10 in the US, you could probably get hold of a good bit of meat, you know, and that's it, man. Get your 1,000 calories of good quality food. Get yourself somewhere to sleep at night, which, you know, there's an abundance of housing out there, right? Yeah, again, it's this whole, we've all been tricked into believing we need a house far bigger than what we actually need, or it needs to be or it needs to be filled up with furniture and all of this stuff that's just purely an unnecessary thing that people just, it's a luxury, that's all it is, right? So I don't know, conservative gal. I think, yeah, again, this is your reality, it's a problem you're going to have to come over, but you know, I'd say don't put pressure on yourself to keep up with them fucking Joneses, keep up with the Kardashians, like you've got to live that lifestyle. Opt out, embrace being poor. Make it work for you, innit? You know, at least if you, you know, for whatever reason the economy drops or tanks or whatever, and you get out of work, you know, go and fucking live in your car by the beach or something. Go fucking enjoy the beach every day and be like, fuck it, I'm poor, but fuck me, I get to wake up to sandy shores and to sunrises and sunsets, and I get to live at the beach, man. Like, that's what I do. It's pretty much what I'm doing now. I pretty much get to the beach every day I can. I don't know. Anyway, conservative gal, I hope it works out for you. I think life becomes one big process of letting go. And sometimes you just got to let go of that middle class lifestyle, or let go of the things that we've been brainwashed into thinking that are important. Let go and the universe will catch you. That's what I say. And then we got Zabatai Zevi. What's on his mind is the fake moon landings and all the lies propelled by NASA that they proclaim to be fact, when it's all unknowable. Humans are not gods. Fuck NASA. Fuck Freemasons / Zionist deceptions. How about you? What's on your mind? The moon landings, huh? And NASA in general, I guess. I mean, yeah, I'm with you Zebediah Zevi. I think that NASA is one big deception. I think it's just a massive grift. It's everyone look over here while there's other shit going on. It comes under the whole thing of, take my word for it, science, right? Like a religion, we have to take their word for it, that what they're saying is true. It's very unlikely we're ever going to get to go on a rocket and, verify what they've been saying is true. So yeah, So I don't know. I don't think we can get out. I think this is an enclosed system. I don't think we can get out of here. I think most of the action is actually happening under the sea. And I think while everyone's been looking at the USA and the USSR pretending to go to space, I think people like the British Empire, maybe the French and stuff as well, have been exploring under the oceans. And I think that's where there's probably going to be some portals or aliens or whatever, okay? Because they reckon 95% of the ocean is undiscovered, So, yeah, again, if I was in charge, I would definitely if I was in charge of the world, I became like the world leader, I would definitely invest more in looking under the ocean and investigating this planet before I started trying to get out of here, and talk about Mars and all that kind of shit, As for the moon landings, maybe they have been to the moon, and what they discovered, they probably just can't tell us. Maybe they flew a rocket right into the moon and something happened. Maybe the moon is a portal to another world. Maybe fucking lasers come out of the moon and just shoot you down. I don't know. The moon landing footage is obviously very fake. It's a bit of a double bluff. Why is it so fake? I don't know. It's not standing up to the test of time. But you've got, NASA, NASA, and the amount of millions and billions that is filtered through NASA, yeah? Another thing with NASA is think of all of the great minds, like the great engineers and scientists that are wasting their whole lives working at NASA, building a rocket that basically goes over and lands into the ocean. Now, these are guys that could be, if they weren't wasting their times at NASA or caught up in this stupid system of working a fake job, I'd put down NASA as a fake job for sure. I think they'd be in their garages making kind of technology like that we could use. Free energies, water purification, hydrogen powered engines and stuff like that. They'd have the time to investigate stuff that they could probably give to their local community, okay? So yeah, it's a great way. Not only is it a great way to, launder money, filter money, waste money, you've got so many great minds that could be working out there, making the human existence better. And now they're diverted into NASA and just building parts of a NASA rocket that just go into the ocean, And I imagine your average NASA worker works there for life. And I imagine that they're very atheistic and they believe in the system. They can't really see past any of it, So yeah, there's more to it than just grifting money. It's about grifting time, grifting minds, diverting stuff that could lead to a human ascension. So yeah. And then it says, how about you? What's on your mind? He's asking me what's on my mind. Nothing really. Nothing at all, really. I just watched a Sky News special regarding Ukraine, and the guy, their favorite fucking war correspondent bullshit artist is called Michael Clark. And he said this war is going to go on for 60, 70 years. So there you go. That's quite reassuring because for 60 or 70, that means it's going to be constantly just very, very, very minor events, 67 years means it's just going to be minor events in minor places in fucking middle of nowhere bullshit. It's just going to be more bullshit, okay? Because if they wanted to, they could really escalate this war rapidly into involving like dropping. What they got to do is drop a few bombs on Moscow, London, and Paris, big cities where people live, really freak the fuck people out, and start getting like a world war on the go, where every country has mobilization and national service. So I don't know. Other than that, what's on my mind? I kind of want to quit the internet every day. I do have a Patreon, and it makes about 120 quid a month, which is amazing. I say it's 1,000 times. I'm not, that's amazing. It's more than I deserve, but it's not quite enough to pay for me to go endlessly keep going to Ukraine. I'd need to be putting in about 1,000 quid a month to be, it costs about, for 1 week to head over to Ukraine costs about 1,000 quid, okay? So if I was to go every month, I'd need to be making about 1,000 quid, and I'm not doing that. And that's what I don't know what to do. I'm not going to ask people for money. This whole conversation has been about how people are worrying about the economy and stuff. I can't afford it. I don't expect people to throw me money. So anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, I'm barely hanging on to my Patreon, and I'm barely hanging on to having a presence here on the internet. I'm kind of a bit like, well, what's the fucking point, man? I done what I had to do with the Battle of Kiev. I had my little 2 minutes of fame. Not that I cared about the fame. I just wanted to fucking adventure in my life, and I got that from Ukraine, So yeah, man, I don't know. But on my mind now, man, I'm looking forward to winter. I'll say that. I'm pretty much looking forward to winter. I used to hate winter. I used to be really depressed in winter. But this time round, I'm looking forward to winter. Some fucking films I want to watch. I'm looking, some cozy nights in. I actually love going to the beach as well in winter, when it's raining and no one's there, Or it's a sunny day, but it's really fucking cold, and I'm the only fucker there sunbathing. It's like -2, but the sun's out, so you can actually catch a tan. Other than that, I don't know. I'm kind of like planning on what to do next with my life. Basically, that's what's on my mind. Where I currently live, which I'm not going to give away ever, it just gets better and better. Like, there's more things. Like a butcher's has appeared at the end of my road, and it sells grass-fed beef. It's appeared on the end of my road. Now, I was looking for a butcher's that done that all over the southwest of the UK, southwest of England, and it was a struggle to find. Like, the closest one was about an hour away, and it kind of wasn't worth driving an hour away for grass-fed beef, or I just didn't really get around to doing it much. So that's the one thing that's missing from my life, and now it's appeared at the end of my road. So that's kind of pretty cool. Yeah, where I live is really cheap. And just, I don't know, where I'm living is getting better and better. So it's like, but it almost feels like a trap. Like, like if I don't move, am I ever going to move? So yeah. I guess like, my biggest problem is the amount of options I have right now. And which is the right one to fucking do, right? There's a big part of me that wants to go live in like Kiev, or just go live in Ukraine for like 6 months, just so I can be very, very front line to what's going on. How that works visa-wise, and whether that's going to be realistically achievable for me, or maybe even just Poland, if I just live just that little bit closer to where they say the war zone is going on, so I could nip in and out of Ukraine and keep seeing, if what they're saying on the TV is a reflection of what's really going on there. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. There really is a lot of options out there when you I don't know, when you're just like me, I'm prepared to let go of everything. I don't it's quite a Buddhist thing, right? But I have no real attachments at the moment. Like, I'm not really attached to where I live. Like, if I got that email tomorrow saying, look, you've got to move out because they're taking the building back, it wouldn't bother me that much. I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't be that bothered. It's quite annoying having to pack your shit and move to the next place, but I wouldn't be bothered. My current job, I enjoy my job, but I can go do that job at any hospital. So if they suddenly just, I don't know, I doubt they're ever going to go under, the people I subcontract for. Or if they change that system and they started making it in-house or something, I lost that job, it wouldn't fucking bother me that so much. You know what I mean? I am literally free to travel the world at the moment, so that's really good. But I just don't know where to go next, man. I don't know. I mean, I'm 35, man, and I'm single as well, and I'm starting to think like, I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks maybe you should just, get yourself a nice girl, settle down, maybe have kids. There's the other part of me that's like, nah, fuck that, man. Never have kids, man. But either way, I've been so busy, with the scamdemic and with Ukraine. I haven't really had any time to date or go and meet some girls. So I think at some point, maybe in the winter, I'm definitely gonna have some time off my my crusade against the fake and phony world wars, and probably get back on the dating scene, man, and meet a nice girl. A lot of people saying it's the biggest crime against humanity that I am single right now. I haven't even got a fuck buddy. And it appears like everyone's got a fuck buddy these days. So I don't know. Lots of things to do, man. Lots of things to do. Anyway, that's been like near enough 45 minutes. I'm going to end it there. We live in a twilight world and there are no friends at dusk.